What's up, everybody? Once again, my name is Matt, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In the last episode, we spent some time in Kakariko talking to people and getting some goodies. Then we came here to the East Desert where we found Sahasrahla, and he agreed to tell us more about the Master Sword if we could get the Pendant of Courage from this temple. So yes, in this episode, guys, we're going to take on the very first temple of the game. This is the Eastern Palace, or the East Palace, I believe, if you're playing the GBA port. But, I guess unofficially it's called the Eastern Palace for the, SNES version of the game, which is the version that I'm playing. But, yeah, that is one change they made on the GBA version. Like, on the GBA version, whenever you entered a temple, it would sort of display the name of the temple on the middle of the screen, and I'm pretty sure the GBA version calls this the East Palace instead of the Eastern Palace, but I'll probably refer to it as the Eastern Palace just because that's what I'm used to calling it. Anyways, that being said, the Eastern Palace is a pretty short, pretty simple little temple, really not too many puzzles, and for the most part I'm just going to run like directly through to the end because there's really not a whole lot to do here. Like, it's fairly simple stuff. I will probably shelf a few, important elements here or there, but really, for the most part, I'm not going to bother explaining too much. I may actually even skip over a couple of rooms and some unnecessary chests, just because these older Zelda games have a lot of chests that aren't really needed to complete the game 100%. Anyways, right here is actually an important chest. This is the compass for the dungeon, so with this, we can see where, like, other chests are and, where the boss room is located. But, yeah, this will be a 100% playthrough, don't you worry. Now, right over here, this stone is actually a telepathic communication stone, so if we go up to this and talk to it, we can actually communicate with Sahasrahla, and it'll often give you, like, some tips and stuff like that about the temple. We'll see those a lot throughout this game, but, I probably won't ever make use of them, just because I already know what I'm doing. Like, if I didn't, what would be the point of this video? It'd be kind of weird. And, yeah, there is a giant chest in the middle of this room, and we can go up to it. However, we can't open it just yet. We actually need the big key to open that specific chest. So, yeah, like, along with, opening up larger locks or the doors that lead to the boss room, the big key actually does open up those larger chests as well. And those larger chests will usually contain, like, the item from the temple or other important things like that. So, just wanted to mention that because it is kind of a different change. Like, it's not exactly the Zelda formula that we've all come to know and love. There are a couple of variations, between this game and, the future Zelda titles that came out. However, a lot of the, nuances of the Zelda formula can be traced back to A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. Like, Ocarina of Time is kind of based off of A Link to the Past in a way. Like, there's very similar story beats, I guess you could say, in A Link to the Past and in Ocarina of Time, so it's kind of cool to sort of see, like, the influence that these games had on the Zelda series as a whole. And that's why I think, like, A Link to the Past is one of the most important Zelda games for every Zelda fan to play. Like, even if you don't really like the older 2D games, I think it is sort of, like, required to play this game at least once, maybe not even 100% complete it, just because you can trace so many, like, early concepts for the Zelda series straight to A Link to the Past, and it really does show, what Nintendo's ambition for Zelda has been since the very beginning. Anyways, yeah, watch out for those weird pink enemies. They're actually called anti-fairies, so if they touch you, they will deal damage, but they'll also steal some of your magic as well. Now, later on in the game, we will get something that we can use to sort of deal with them and turn them back into normal fairies, but we don't have that right now, so it's best to just, like, avoid them because they are kind of sporadic in their movement. Anyways, though, now that we have the big key, let's open up the chest and get ourselves the item from this temple, which is one of my favorite Zelda items, the bow. Now that we got that, though, we're going to leave this room because those floating skeleton heads are coming straight towards us, so no time to admire our bow right now. Let's get to somewhere safer, although this is not exactly safer if you ask me, and oh my gosh, I really did not want to wake those guys up. That was not my plan. Kind of wanted to leave them there, and oh, that was very, very lucky. Alright, this will kind of work, though, because if I can lead one into here, how did I miss that pot? That was the easiest shot of, like, a lifetime, and I still somehow screwed it up. Not that big of a deal, though, because now that we do have the bow, we can one-shot these weird, like, statue guys. Just gotta wake them up and then shoot them right in the eye. So, yeah, these Cyclopses really not too hard to deal with. Just make sure you actually, you know, line up your shot correctly, because you're off even a little bit to the left or the right, you'll just like hit them and not their actual eye, which is their weak spot. Now over here on the right, this room does contain a bunch of rupees, but they're on like platforms that you can very easily fall off, and there are anti-fairies everywhere. So while the rupees look tempting, I'm not going to bother going to pick those up, because here's the thing, like A Link to the Past does give you a lot of rupees early on, so we should be fine money-wise, and I don't want to risk taking the damage, especially since we're kind of almost done with this temple. Like, we're fairly close to the boss already, so I would like to keep my hearts up as high as I possibly could, because like I said, one of the hardest things about this game is early on just keeping your HP high and not dying to like the dumbest things, because everything does do so much damage. Actually, do I need to kill this guy? I think I might need you for something later on. Not too sure, but alright, maybe not. I thought there was something that fell from the sky when I killed him, but I guess I was thinking of something else. Alright, whatever, let's keep moving on then. And oh man, this room's scary. There are balls everywhere, but yeah, just hit the switch on the upper left and you're pretty much good to just move on through that room, no problem. And I hate to say it, guys, but yeah, we're kind of already done with this temple, and the only reason I know that is because those weird looking tiles underneath that red Cyclops enemy at the north of this room sort of signify that we're getting very, very close to the boss room itself. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only one room like besides this one before we need to go and take on the boss of this temple. So like I said, Eastern Palace, very short, very simple, but it's a pretty cool temple. Like, I still like it. For the first temple of the game, I think it does a very good job at like introducing you to how the rest of the game should play out. Now, sadly, we have one more skeleton to get rid of, and kind of wasted all my pots, so I guess I'll just use my boomerang. Thankfully, it does do damage to the skeletons instead of stunning them, so, you know, it is pretty useful. Alright, so this last room, there are a couple enemies, but mainly this room is to serve as sort of a restock room, because there's going to be hearts everywhere, some arrows as well, and we will need arrows for the boss of this temple. So I'm going to try and conserve as many as I possibly can, but I still do need to take out these two guys, and aw man, I was hoping I could get around that guy without taking any damage, but whatever, not that big of a deal. Hopefully we can find a heart in here. Perfect, there we go. Now let's go and take on the boss of this temple. So here we go, and you know, I probably should have just like waited for that guy to start moving before I wasted those 3 arrows, but not that big of a deal. So yeah, really all you want to do for this fight is just spam your arrows and try and take these guys out one at a time. This fight's really not like that interesting until there's only one of these weird like statue things left. When that happens, then the fight becomes a lot more interesting. So let's try and get a couple more shots. There we go. Alright, so now when there's only one left, yeah, he's gonna start going up in the air and slinging himself down, trying to smash you. You can still like attack him with your bow and arrow, but I think the better way to do this fight is just by charging up a spin attack, getting close to him when he slams down, and then releasing your spin attack. The only problem is, I'm very, very bad at, like, judging the radius of my spin attack in this game. It's something I've always been bad at, but especially early on in the game when your spin attack is, like, exactly the radius of your sprite's, like, ability to, you know, jab out his sword. It's kind of hard to tell, you know, exactly when you're going to do damage and when you're not going to do damage. So you do kind of need to get close to this guy, which, is a little bit tricky, since if you get too close, he will slam down your face and deal damage, but if you don't get close enough, you're not going to deal any damage to him. Also, he takes a lot of hits, like if you can't tell. This guy, for whatever reason, he's super beefy in the HP department for like the very first boss, so we might be at this a while, especially since I keep missing my freaking spin attacks. Although I will admit, like, my movement in this game has never really been the best, and you guys have probably already noticed it, but, I'm one of those people who, like, hold down the D-pad for maybe a split second too long, and as a result, like, I tend to miss the entrances to doorways or staircases by a couple of pixels just because I always hold down, like, the left or right direction just 1 second too long. It is kind of annoying to watch, I know, and I do apologize about that. I'll try and, like, improve, you know, my movement as we go through this Let's Play, because I watch a lot of speedruns of this game, and, Those guys have like perfect movement, and it's just so beautiful to watch them play this game because, I don't know, A Link to the Past speedruns are really, really interesting to me. They're some of the best ones. Also, I have 1 HP, so if you could die like soon, that would be great, my man. I really don't want to die to the first stinking boss of this game. The fact that I have 1 HP is already kind of embarrassing. You've got to be close to death now, though. There we go. Finally. Jeez, that took way too long. And just like that, we got the first pendant. Ta-da! Not bad, guys. Well, it was kind of bad, but still, not bad, guys. We did it. You won the Pendant of Courage. Take it to Sahasrahla. 2 pendants remain. Alright, so let's go return to the old man and tell him how we did. Maybe we'll leave out the part where we almost died to the first boss of the game because he really doesn't need to know that. He just needs to know that, you know, we got the first pendant. Also, can you please just get out of my way? I really don't want to deal with you right now. You're just kind of annoying and bothersome. So I think we can actually just pretty much hold left and get directly back to where Sahasrahla is. There is his little hut, so let's go inside and show him the pendant and learn more about the Master Sword. Oh, you got the Pendant of Courage. Now I will tell you more of the legend. 3 or 4 generations ago, an order of knights protected the royalty of the Hylia. These Knights of Hyrule were also guardians of the Pendant of Courage. Unfortunately, most of them were destroyed in the Great War against evil that took place when the 7 wise men created their seal. Among the descendants of the Knights of Hyrule, a hero must appear. I see. Link, I believe you should get the remaining pendants and carry this with you. This is a treasure passed down by the families of the wise men. I want you to have it. What are those? So yeah, we got the Pegasus shoes. Now we can execute a devastating dash attack. So pretty much we can run. A helpful item is hidden in the cave on the east side of Lake Hylia. Get it. Alright, will do. Here's how our new shoes actually work. So we can charge up and then dash in a single direction for pretty much an infinite amount of time until we hit something or, you know, the screen changes. So it does make movement a lot faster. Anyways, I think that is going to do it for this video. So if you guys enjoyed this part, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.